So namaste. This is my sister from Cape Town, South Africa. Hi, Sammy. Yes.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming in. It's such a pleasure to meet you again. You bring in so much positivity. You bring in so much energy for all the sisterhood community that we're associated with. I'm super happy that you're here today. Yeah. Sammy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I'm a human being that's moving through time and space,
Wow.
and I am a I'm currently living in the Western Cape, South Africa, and I'm very blessed to live in such a beautiful space and beautiful country with lots of nature and natural abundance that we have here. So I am a traveler and an empowerment mirror. I couldn't even say coach or healer or any of those things, just a mirror.
Wow.
To guide those that seek it, to bring them back into our memory of our ancient selves, switching off that third dimensional programming, helping them navigate their emotional systems. And I do that through a process called the Merkaba Soul Activation, which I do online and one-on-one. And this is my telepathic gift that I figured out, or at least remembered, when I was in 2012. And when I figured that gift out, that I was like rogue and I was able to listen into the body and be able to articulate it to the person, and it was 100% right, I decided to dedicate my life to that gift and to really walking outside of the matrix system or outside of the 9-to-5 system, to see what life was without a job, without support, without financial desire, without any of these things that we keep running back to, thinking that it's safe, when in actual fact it's keeping us in this loop of mental enslavery. So my quest became of a journey of self-discovery. I come from quite a deeply pained background. I've had lots of death in my life and lots of families changing and things like that. So I don't come from a silver spoon. I definitely have had the traumas and pains that many people walk through. I think the difference between my story and theirs is that I took the leap of faith. And I sold everything I owned, and I went traveling around Europe, went to certain festivals, permaculture farms, natural building farms, yoga spaces, and learning how to be as self-sustainable as possible with my backpack and passport, and with the universe, and what that really means, and who am I without all the attachments. So I've been doing that since 2012. And I write my blog, which is serendipitysun.com, and that is where I share my experience authentically, and then I offer my services to those that are seeking to free themselves and to come into their own alignment. And because I came from corporate, I studied musical theater, so I've actually got my degree in musical theater, so that's where all the power and the energy comes from. That is actually what my degree is. Yeah, and I love it and I miss it, but it was I was a very different person then. I then also help people become financially free, designing their dreams and putting that into a physical plan, a mind map, a pathway that I question them to answer their questions. I don't place ideas in for you. I kind of let you find your own ethos in that. And that's another one of my offerings. So it's the soul activation, because I realized that we can't do anything if this and this is not aligned.
Exactly.
Everything that we are using and creating is just still going to be a distortion. So I start there first, and then we can design the life, design the finances, see how things can unfold for people to really manifest and bring in what we truly are able to allow in, instead of coming from a poverty-stricken mindset or a lack mindset or I'm not worthy mindset.
Yes.
which tends to keep us small and limited. So it's breaking through those limitations. And I do that in my soul activation session, which I do online because it's an internal process as much as it's a connection, but it also proves to the ego that we are connected wherever we are in the world.
Exactly.
So when I first went traveling, that was my test. I needed to see if I could be in Portugal and do a session with my friend in the UK and my other clients in South Africa to see how if it would work online, because I'm so used to being one-to-one. If I am one-to-one with you, I bring you to nature. I take you to, nature always gives me the perfect space to do it. So I do it in a forest. I do it next to a river. And I bring you to the ground and to the earth to bring you back to your 4 elements, bringing back to what's simple, because we've overcomplicated it. And to ground you and teach you, what does rooting mean? What does your chakras mean? What are these emotions? Because we may know them, but how do we know them intimately for our own navigation without having to do the Reiki course or without having to do anything? So I call it the starting block. You come to me to kind of ignite your journey, and then your soul has everything for you. So you're giving your soul space to actually come through and speak for itself, rather than us adding more courses and things and academia onto our plates, that the soul's like, I don't need to learn more. I need to unlearn and then remember, because it's all within us. And when I figured that out, this is where my gift is of the Akasha. And I work with the Akashic records, and we all have the Akashic records. And for those that will listen, the Akashic records is our own Google. It's our own encyclopedia that each of us have our own codes and keys for. And that's what's currently dormant at this time. And that's what's awakening at this time. And that's why we're having this dark night of the soul and this big, drama going on in the world, is to awaken the memory that you are creator, you are part of source, you are one with divine, and that you are divine, and that there's no separation. So the Akashic reading is very intimate, and when we understand that we have all the answers within us, we tend to we don't have to look outside ourselves for external satisfaction. We can really go, not necessarily within, yes, meditation, yoga, these are all important practices, but you can find self in your reality and kind of go, okay, well, what would my higher self do in this situation? Rather than going, oh, what would my therapist say, or my dad say, or my partner say, or my therapist, coming back to the I, which we've also been dissociated from. We all speak from a we and a why and a they and a them, and it's actually it's an I am. So it's coming back to the basics. So that's my soul activation session. I've been doing that full time. It is more internal. It's our internal communication system, because at the moment when we're in 3D world, we have like multiple personalities. And we could be telepathically picking up other people, and we just call it coincidence, or we call it psycho. It's not. We're just telepathic. We do connect. We all have these gifts. We all have these processes. So I help new star seeds, or even children, or even adults that are just about waking up, kind of make sense to the madness that's going on within the psyche. And then we tone it all down. So I give the ego a name. My ego is called Felicia. She's fabulous. She's loud. She gets involved when she shouldn't, but we love her. And characterizing each of the voices. And that's what I did with my musical theater and my spiritual healing. I kind of characterize it, because once the mind can identify it, then we don't reject it. We don't think it's wrong. And we've been told our whole lives that we're wrong, or we're not worthy, or we shouldn't, or don't think that way. When to tell that to a starseed, that's like telling them not to breathe. And that's where depression steps in, and that's where trauma step in, and that's where things really start to become more dissonant. So my quest is really just been of how to make a simple pathway for all walks of life that are seeking this truth within, to find a simple pathway from the root chakra to the crown, and how does that come into the Merkaba, and how does that come into the physical body, and how does that all speak one language? How does it all communicate in one language? So that's what I offer as my absolute, and have been doing that for 10 years. I haven't had a job in 10 years. I haven't had any financial support in 10 years, and I've done everything on donation. So I have a rate, but you donate what they feel. Some could be 50 Rand. I've had gifts of 10,000 Rand. So it all depends on where I'm at in the journey of what the universe needs to provide for me, and what the person needs they can provide for them. And it really opened up the whole exchange and the financial exchange game, where it was like, okay, profit and customer and system and sale, to I'm energetic, you are energy, and here we are exchanging, because I learn every time I do a session. It opens up my healing so much more. So I gain so much from each session, because it's incredibly fascinating. I get quite nerdish about it.
Wow.
I feel like a little nerd when it comes to it. But because I see the person awaken, around me, and that fascinates me, that the system that I've been, and it's not something I figured out in this life. Because I asked my teacher who was teaching me at the time, and I want to thank all my teachers, by the way, all of the teachers that have taught me along my journey, and thanking all my beings that have taught me many lessons, and through all the heartaches and the darkness. I want to thank that part too, because it brought me into my awareness of who I am. So I just want to honor everybody and all my ancestors in that. And of course my guardians and my angelic that we all have. But again, it's just mirrors of you, it's all just fractals of you. So yeah, and now that process has allowed me to do 4,000 sessions around the world, one-on-one.
That's
and
amazing. 4,000 sessions.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really good. And I'm so happy that people like you are there for the humanity, and for people who are low and down, and they feel that, okay, where to go, what to do. Yes, you're there, and there is validation and justification as to that leap of faith. Whatever you just spoke to me, yes, that's going to guard us. It's going to lead us to people, to places where we're supposed to be, and open ourselves up, open the universe up for whatever it has to offer.
100%. Yeah, I just became a service of divine. I just said, well, use me how I need to be used, and I will be of service. But I had to do a lot of work to get there. I had to let go of everything that I had to let go of: the job, the career, the white picket fence, the marriage, all that
when
stuff.
Did you
the
decide
family.
This,
I had to let it all go.
Yeah. So what made you decide as to this is the path?
In 2012. In 2012. Well, as I said, I came from quite a deep emotional journey with my family. My brother passed away when I was 15. I've just been looking after my mom. She currently passed away. Thank you. They're all my angels, and death is just as important as birth. But thank you, sister. I appreciate it. But regardless of that, I always had a much more challenging time than my peers. And I can't say that mine is worse than anyone else's. It's just mine in general. And I just got to a point where I was cutful of always giving myself to people and not getting the response I was looking for, always running after people and not getting that return, always feeling less than myself. There were just a lot of things I started getting cutful meaning upset. Enough, I'm done. And I then went to well, look, I mean, I've also had a journey of psychedelics and drugs and alcohol and all sorts of other things that also opened me up to different realities and how things work. So coming from an alcohol-driven family, alcohol and cigarettes is what they would do, Then I was moved to psychedelic mushrooms and LSD, and I tried all the other things like cocaine and all those to see multiverse, like the world as I've never seen it before. So I have to thank psychedelics for that. I have also done my medicines as well, but that came later. So I dabbled in the outdoor festival scene, and I really love to dance and experience myself on a psychic and emotional level. And that then also sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole where I was then dependable on drugs, and I felt that that was a bit of a trap. And I'm going to be completely honest here, because that's what it's about. But that then pushed me to go overseas to a place called Bintan Island, and I went to be a fitness geo at Club Med in Singapore, or Bintan, which is Indonesia. And there's no drugs, there's only alcohol and cigarettes, and there's no marijuana, there's nothing like that. So, and I was a fitness geo, so I had to really, it was like, I called it my God's boot camp. It was like my rehab center, that I had to really like just go into sobriety a bit and deal without having those things that I had before, you know, that were keeping me in that other space. And then when I came out of that, which was like 4 months later, I started having these profound, like my mind was just vast space. There wasn't much there. It wasn't, I also slowed down a lot. So from Joburg days, you know, going at like a really fast corporate space to going to island life, I slowed down from like 150 kilometers to like 40 kilometers per hour. So my mind could actually breathe and receive.
Yes.
And then I was doing yoga. I mean, I wasn't a yoga instructor then, but very simple yoga for the Asians there on the beach. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, what you see is what you are, and what you say is who you are.
Wow.
And when that came through me, I was like, that's profound. Those aren't my words.
100%.
Not my words.
Wow.
Those are not my words.
Like so
that's when I started realizing, oh, okay, there's a channel coming through me now. What does that mean? And I would also touch people, and I would receive all of their information.
Wow.
So if I touched you, I would see what you'd done that day, or what you'd done in a past life, or what you'd done, and I'd get them in these little picture frames. And I would like, I kind of thought I was going a bit cuckoo. I was like, whoa. So I stopped touching people, and I kind of backed off, and I was like, okay, I'm not sure what's going on. As soon as I came back to South Africa, I spoke to a friend of mine about it, and I felt like my old self was calling me back to go back and jaw and get back into the rat race and get a job and do that whole life. And then the other side of me was like, remember, you were slow, you were receiving, you were open. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. So I asked my friend to send me to someone that could help me with this, what I'd been through, my process. And she sent me to a lovely lady. Her name's White Paul, and she's a Reiki shamanic healer and master. And I went and spoke with her about doing my Reiki course for me, so that I could balance myself, so that I could understand who I am and what this all is. And from that moment on, her and I connected. I love the world of Reiki. I love the world of shamanism. I love the world of the medicine wheel and the colors, and that everything's energetic and everything's from an emotion, which is energy and motion. You know, I loved all of that. It just really woke up my soul. And so I said to the lady, well, what must I do? And she said, come on the path and see how that unfolds. So I did. And I did my Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki Masters, and my Course in Miracles. And when I reached Course in Miracles and my Reiki Masters, which was 6 months down the line, we were then practicing on each other, and I was able to scan over one of my clients' root chakra, and I was able to hear this whole conversation, but it wasn't in my voice, and it wasn't my words. And my teachers always told us to learn how to say it like it is, instead of sugarcoating it or trying to make it softer, and which is really difficult for us, because we want to like cover that. So I was learning how to say it like it is. So I said to the lady, can I share with you what I'm receiving? And she's like, said, sure. So I told her as it is, and this poor woman starts crying, and I'm like, oh no, what have I done? I've upset you now. Oh sure, but what if I'm wrong? Sorry. And she just stopped me and she said, no, you're absolutely right. I'm currently going through a divorce right now, and what you're telling me are the decisions I need to make in myself to make my pathway free. And so then immediately my body went into like this trance. And then I said, there's more. Can I give it to you? She said, yes. So I articulated more. And then I felt like her body was telling me what to tell her. So I was just telling her what she already knew, but needed validation on.
True.
And when that all transpired, this woman literally opened up her heart space. She's just released. She became so much less stressed. She was like, oh my God, I need to trust my intuition. It's been what I've needed to do. And she just got so excited with me. And I looked at my classroom and I was like, is anyone else hearing this? Can you bring your hand? Are you hearing this? And nobody else is hearing it other than me. So I was just like, this is profound. And I said to my teacher, is this normal? And she said, well, not really, but normal essence in your soul has a mastery of being to articulate the akasha, which is the memory or the information within the vessel. And your soul is a master in articulating that to those that are seeking it. And that is what I've learned through many lifetimes. And I'm here in this lifetime to bring it into life and to action it full time, because in all my other past lives, I either did, but I wasn't fully successful, or things happened, or I got killed, or whatever it was. So in this life, it was to be just that. And I felt a big calling to a lot of people being too scared to completely go into their absolute authentic path. And I decided to make that my mission. That I would be, if I'm one of the 1,000 that actually turn the other way and go the other direction and take it on full time, like a full-time job, and give it the same energy I would the other system, then maybe, just maybe, more will follow. Maybe. Let's see.
True. Yes.
And now I sit in 2020 and so many did follow. Everyone's in their path. We're all awakening. People, the gifts are coming. Everyone's tuning into themselves. People are dropping what doesn't serve them and they're moving on. I'm not saying that was just my doing, but it was, we were all part of the collective trip. And then I decided to, I was in a position in Joburg where I had no money because work wasn't coming in, because I was changing. So I decided to just sell everything I own and get on a plane and travel through Europe and move from Johannesburg to Cape Town to see if I can be with just my gift. And that's it.
Oh my God. It's
no
like
financial
I'm
support, no
listening
phoning
to
of
a
family, no
movie
nothing.
or,
And I traveled through.
It is like take a backpack and move
I'm
from
writing it
one
as we
country
speak,
to another.
actually.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, with 5 rand in my back pocket. And like, absolutely. But I had no other choice, because my life was pushing me that way. It was like everything wasn't working in my reality. And sometimes we try to fix what's not working.
Exactly.
And my soul was just like, leave it. I'm trying to push you somewhere else. So it was learning the deep surrender. And then I was like, what an adventure. Because if you've mastered money, then master your life without money and see how that goes.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I did need money to get from train station to train station, but I wasn't going, oh, I need this money to have this plan, to do this thing, to be that person, you know?
Yeah.
So that in itself really turned the game around. And I traveled 9 countries in 3 months.
Oh my God.
And every time I needed something, it just arrived. And I learned how to trade for my board at hostels. I learned how to work at yoga retreats and trade for my board. And, you know, I became much more deep in community. Whereas if I had money and I had the system, then I would just go to the room, see the room, sleep in the room, and then go into just go do everything, you know?
Yes.
Whereas I didn't have anything. I would meet a man on a bus street, and we would share a meal together. Because it would be something that we found, because like in Europe, you're going to laugh. I'm sure they have it in India as well, but it's dustbin diving, you know. There's certain places that, you know, throw away food, and you can go and sit there and receive the food, and it's delicious fresh food from that day that you can eat from. People throwing out clothes. You know, Europe was a very perfect place to do this type of thing. Don't think I would have been able to be as successful in South Africa. But India and Europe are definitely places where you can kind of take the backpack and the passport and go for it. India was my next space that I was coming to.
Oh, wow.
It was the next one.
You should.
It's on my list, girl. I'm coming to see you.
Awesome. Yes, waiting to meet you, sister.
Yeah. And now all of those things have unfolded. I now am part of gifting communities where I am just supporting sisters in learning how to actually dream and how to dream. And there's a beautiful process that does offer that.
Yeah.
And also the Kindred Hearts process, which is just gifting, and it's an automated website that we're all gifting each other. And I've moved from having money and like profits and systems to donations and trading and gifting. And for me, this is all the fifth dimension. This is where we're going, you know. But I can't say I'm rich financially, but I'm so rich in life. You know, I've got so much experience. I have so much memory in my heart that when I look at my dad, which we had a huge blowout when I left, and now we kind of like friends again, he's just like, whatever you did, it worked because you're glowing, you're happy, you're doing what you're doing. Exactly. But I can't say it was easy. Like there were many trials and tribulations that got me down.
Yeah.
But I just
usually
had
think,
to,
you know,
especially the lonely, like, what have I done?
I know. Whenever I spoke to you last time, I was thinking about this as to Sammy is such a nice person. She's in such a nice place. It's nature, and she's doing what she has to do. But the story behind is more profound. When you tell me, yes, there was a struggle. You did struggle to reach where you are today, and that made you stronger. And the spirit in you is so powerful and strong. And it says that yes, if you have something in your mind, the universe is going to help you receive whatever you have to and achieve it and manifest it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And actually what I learned is the universe said to me, you know, we keep asking for support, but we don't support the universe as much as we should. Meaning we sit on our couches and we're like, oh, I want this. But the universe is like, but I need you to get rid of that thing and do that thing and get that thing sorted so that I can move you there. Exactly. So she really did tell me that it's like, if you make yourself available, she will do the most magical things with you. Wow. But if we're still sitting in the job, bitching about the job, and we don't want to do the job, but we want the universe to help us, she's going to be like, no, it's my brother, sorry. I'll maybe give you a kick up the butt and get you resigned or retrenched. But then you're going to shout at me because I got you retrenched. So, you know, the poor universe really gets it sometimes.
I know. Yeah.
I just had nothing to lose. I had nothing to lose. I also felt very destiny driven. I felt that it was an important part of the puzzle to actually alchemize this in the physical. Instead of us talking about it or just dreaming about it, was to do it. Because if it's done, then the universe has something to focus on for other light workers and other beings to look into the Akasha and go, oh, there's a pathway. I can take it. There, it's done. Then they can follow. There's a gift that I could leave humanity and myself in this time. That would be it. Would be shattering the matrix illusion and that whole false illusion that we're going to die if we don't have money, or we're going to not be successful in our success and all that kind of stuff. So there were all these illusions that were very much broken, which fascinated me. I felt so privileged to be able to be in a position that I had come from a family of, okay, my dad's wealthy, but my mom was poor. You know, I've always been in between realities of finance where my mom's got poverty and my dad's got rich money, and I was living those two worlds, which for me, money is a very touchy subject. As much as I maybe, so that's why when they said to me, you can go without, you don't need it. I was like, whoa, you're saying I don't need to, I can work energetically, but I don't have to physically work for the money. That's amazing, because I've really not despised money, but if you give me money, I'll give it back to you kind of energy, you know, like, I'm like, okay, what can I buy you for this? So I'm also learning how to receive, and my receiving was for practical things, for my bus trip or for my flight or for those for fuel or for
Exactly.
food. Yes, sometimes yes and no. For accommodation if I had to pay for it. But I learned that our energy, the vessel, and that's what I was shown. The universe said, what are you before money? So I looked and I said, well, I don't know, I was birthed. And then it said, you have breath, and your breath is for free. So when we get stuck in the I don't have money energy portal, we need to sit in the I have a breath and have a heartbeat.
Wow. Yeah.
And that is what kept me going through this whole process.
Wow.
Was just reminding myself, I've got those two things. That's my livelihood. That's my money. That's my shelter. That's my everything I need. And then boom, a client would arrive, or boom, something would arrive. Something would arrive in my reality saying, hey, you want a meal? There's a meal. Hey, you want a place to stay? There's a place to stay. Hey, here's $50 for the session. Now I could buy my plane ticket. And it becomes this dance between you and your own tapestry, you and your own reality. And I just got so close to it. And so I just now teach that forward and try to free as many people from the matrix plugins that we've allowed to be placed there with our free will, and through our free will have to undo them and release those contracts. And we can do all the work in meditation and yoga until the cows come home, or all the right eating until cows come home, or do all the right things until the cows come home. But if we still got that third dimension program there, it will keep sending doubt, it will keep sending fear, and it will keep sending lower vibrational energy to block you. So I haven't done my yoga course yet. I haven't done my meditation Vipassana yet. I've only been doing this to physically manifest and understand my mind and how it is connected to the matrix system and how to unprogram that.
Yeah.
Because once you have
and
that,
the one thing which you told,
do the yoga course with ease.
Yeah, the one thing which you told about telepathy, and once you receive signals from the others, you would get to know about that. Well, I have experienced that with you too. Well, I think last time when I just messaged you, it was like, yes, you were thinking about me and we had a call. So it is so kind of resonating, the energy and the telepathy, that is so true. Actually, if you think about something about someone at that particular time, and I would also receive the same thing. So it's amazing.
Just shows you how connected we really are.
So true. Yes, that's why we call each other sisters. Sister from India, sister from Cape Town. Yeah, it's so good to connect with you. Also,
yes, thank you so much for sharing your heart with me.
Yeah, thank you, Sammy. Also, the serendipity.com. So what is it all about? Can you just give us a brief intro or a brief idea about what exactly the website is about?
Okay. So serendipitysun.com is going through an upgrade at this moment. But currently what you can find there is I've given some videos and tips on how to ground self and how to root self, and many questions that people answer, so they can just go there for a nice sharing. I've blogged some of my journey, but not my full journey, because while I was on the journey, I was like, oh, I should blog every day and send my videos every day. But then my soul was like, but then you won't experience it. Rather live it and then write it later when you have memoir. So I'm doing that. So and then, of course, they can reach me privately to send me an email to do the soul activation, the Merkaba soul activation, the Akashic reading. That's online. And then if they want to do more sessions with me, I share that on the website, on the email with them. I don't share too much on my website because, unfortunately, a while ago, I had some people that were not so big fans of mine, and they decided to rip my space apart a bit. And this is the thing about websites. Well, they thought I'm not nice. So either way, everyone to their own opinion. It's fine. It happens. In fact, they say when you're doing something good, you're going to get positive and negative experiences. So, and all I tell people is if you have an issue with me, please come directly to me, speak directly to me. Let's not gossip and talk around me. So I haven't shared much on the website. I had to take some stuff off because of those people and those things, which actually made me realize what is it that I'm sharing and how am I sharing must be specific to the person I'm meeting. But I'm upgrading it now, and I'm adding all the services that I support. So like I'm going to do food consciousness, where I'm going to link up different products that are organically driven that people can order from. So it's like a one-stop shop. Healing. So I'll put your link up here because I love the content you offer. I'll put, Kai's stuff with his yoga things. I'll put my things up. I'll put my teachers up. So it's just going to be a nice, like, space where people can come and get lekker, truthful, honest, authentic, conscious information. And then I'm also working on an online festival with consciousness and music. So that's in the works at the moment. So we'll have the link to join there. And then lastly, the gifting community that we were speaking about a while ago, which is Dreamweavers, there's Blossom, and then Kindred Hearts, which I'm starting everyone at Kindred Hearts. And this is a gifting economy that has a website that does automation for us. It's $100 to gift. And we're all gifting each other financial freedom. Instead of gifting a company or gifting the bank or putting your money there, we're all gifting each other and bringing that process forward.
That's
so I'm sharing those tools.
Good.
Yeah, it's really amazing. It's so simple. And, everyone's like, oh, it's pyramid scheme and it's this and it's, a pyramid scheme. Let me just quickly clear this, is a business. You're at the top of the business, there's your boss, and you're at the bottom, you're the staff. Okay. Now the boss keeps getting more profits and the staff stay on R5 an hour. So that, my friends, is a pyramid scheme. It is right in front of us. It's what we work for every day. But people reject circle systems or systems that are not normal, or that you have to bring in two people, because they're like, oh, if I'm bringing two people, then it's affiliate marketing or it's network marketing, or there's always this resistance to a new way of making money or sharing money. And these gifting circles have been around for years. Kindred Hearts, 11 years. Dreamweavers is 70 years. And they all are non-social networks. So, I mean, I'm sharing this with you as a private thing, but you'd never see me make a video and put it online.
Never.
You won't see me share it on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So it's through invitation only and through frequency match. And some have had a positive experience, some have had negative experiences, but that's like anything. And when we're gifting, we're doing this unconditionally. And there's a beautiful book called The Gene Keys. And The Gene Keys is a phenomenal book when it comes to understanding our kind of DNA strands and how we all work as human beings in different ways and different archetypes. And in there, it says that gifting is the least charged, energetic charged way of exchanging money. So that for me is so profound.
Even in India, what we say, the charity, or we call it as dana. So dan or dana. So that is like most profound thing what you can do, give charity or lend, all these stuff. So I think somewhere down the line, all these theories are one, they all have the same foundation.
100%. In fact, it was, I forget his name, but he's a guru of some sort. He's got the long white beard. I keep forgetting his name.
Okay. Is it Sadhguru?
Anyway, maybe, yeah.
Sri Ravi Shankar Guruji?
Sadhguru.
Yeah.
But they're all Sadhgurus.
Okay.
I'll send you the link of where I heard it. But he just explained the main fundamental of humanity is that we've lost our nature. We've lost our elements. And the beautiful thing about Dreamweavers is that it brings you back into the 4 elements: fire, air, earth, and water. And he says that if you can activate that in your sadhana, and Dreamweavers is about sharing your daily sadhana in the element that you are, and each element you have to do a different responsibility to move from fire, which is the gifting, all the way to water, which is the receiving. There is a very deep shamanic and spiritual process that goes within you to bring you back to your natural self. And when
Okay.
he said that, I was like, you see, this is ancient. This is not just
Yes.
something that
Yes.
we've picked up
100%.
yesterday.
This is
It's about
Sadhguru.
bringing in the
Yeah.
alchemies.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the
He-
four elements for me just blow my mind. And when he said that, I was like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Exactly.
So we use Kindred Hearts as the bank so that
Mhm.
people don't join financially stressed, because these fees are not because it's the elite only, but what it is, it's teaching manifestational skills so
Okay.
that we can actually ask for more,
Mhm.
expand ourselves more. But the Kindred Hearts is the bank where there's no embodiments, there's no four elements, it's just the gifting, which gets the mind ready for
Okay.
this gifting thing. And then I suggest that people go into the 333, which is sisters only, or into the Blossom $500, which is the male and female. And those two, and then of course there's others once you're through, but those two are part of the embodiments. It has your, and you get taught video sharing, you get how to learn how to write your dreams, you in the elements, and you're part of a very deep community.
Correct.
Of people that you get to show up to every day that you can't do on Facebook and you can't do on Instagram. So while people have been in COVID lockdown, I have been abundant with connections from people all around the world.
Wow.
And they show up for me and I show up for them, and I get to share my heart with them and they get to share theirs with mine. And yes, we'll have discrepancies and we'll have issues or there'll be problems, but you know what we learn? We learn to sit in the shit. Excuse my French, but we sit in it. And then we like, okay, we're going to move through this gently because we want to teach commitment. And at this day and age, everything's quite like, I mean, even mine, one of my shadows is like, I want to run when things are good, you know, when things are great. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Thanks. See you later. So this has really helped me to sit down and just go through the motions without judging it as positive or negative. And just seeing it all as medicine. So I feel very honored and blessed that these pathways have aligned, and me sharing it with you has just given me so much more hope and inspiration on my journey.
Yes. I mean, it's the same from me. It's the same from me. I have one last question, Sammy.
Please.
When you say healing someone, like for example, even I've done my pranic healing. So after I give a session, I feel so drained out. I feel so exhausted. You know, you can't do more than one session in a week. That's what I'm not able to do that because I need to re-energize and get back into that system. So what do you do after a healing session?
So firstly, I changed my wording. I'm not healing them. They are healing themselves. So that's first step.
Okay.
So the first step is that contract with the person. Because if I'm healing you, then I'm physically doing all the work, and I'm actually not letting source and your source, both of our higher selves, move through us together.
Yes.
So that's the first one. That's why I actually took the word healer away from my reality completely. Because then as well, when we're healing, sometimes we may be overstimulating, meaning kind of holding space for someone. We can sometimes over baby and like kind of hold deep space for the person rather than being a bit more boundary set of like they know what they're doing and they need to do the certain things that they need to do.
Yes.
And then lastly, I stay incredibly neutral. I don't feed into anything that's coming out or not, especially if it's silent healing, then you know it's just energy that's coming through, and as I am releasing, I'm transmuting back to Ra. So it's not sticking with me. I've figure of eight it. Everything is a figure of eight. Consistently doing that, because then it's just a channel. It's not me, it's not the person. The angelics are doing it, everyone else is doing it. I make sure that I eat a banana before. I have some nuts close by just for this tummy, because sometimes we get that way deprived. And then of course the water. My water has to be so important. It must be naturally spring water. It must be alive water. If it's not from the mountains or from a spring, my body actually can't be the vessel to receive. Because it's coming into a vessel that's got dead water in it. And with our taps and all of our systems at the moment, that's a problem. You know, we don't actually have access to mountain water. So if you do have a spring, and maybe finding a place in nature that you can make your office where you can meet that person, so that you're grounded, you with Gaia, she can give you the support that you need when you're doing that. And then not to amplify my work, but I assist healers like yourself, or I'm going to call you energy workers or vessels, to come into your body stronger, so that we are deflecting and being of service from afar, rather than feeling like we're actually taking the energy home with us.
Correct.
Because that's what I learned.
Yes.
I only became a proper healer, like, she's only, I think, 5 years after doing all the work on my own and doing like other things with other people. People started coming to me. It wasn't me going, okay, let me start a practice and let me do this. It was none of that. It was, hey, let's do this, you know? Whereas, so those are the things that I learned. And I only do, my most I've done is 3 sessions a day, and that's already too much.
Oh, wow.
But one a day, mine are 2 hours each. So mine are 2 hours once off. And then I work with you for a year transformation, because each chakra will have a month worth of transformation. But then I only do 2 max a day, and maybe that'll be 3 in a week. And kind of going with the flow like that. And I've learned that my service to self, my napping, my sadhana in my morning, taking my time, doing my things slowly, really taking time for self. And then from midday onward, I open my phone and I open to the world, and then I'm like, cool, I'm of service. But I'm incredibly selfish with my energy, in the self-love way. And the moment I don't do that, I'm a wreck. I can't actually do anything for that person, because I can't be of service to them. And sometimes when I'm feeling low, I gotta cancel. I gotta say, hey, I'm not in the right space right now. Let's do it again.
Correct. Yeah. Very well said. One thing that's really opened up my mind is you said you're just, we are just a mechanism, and the healing is happening by itself. And the person who's having that issue got to be healed by himself. That's a very profound statement. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
It's a big
so
pill
much.
to swallow, because it actually pushes us back to self-accountability.
Correct.
And in my mastery, I was told, or in my work, my teachers would always say, don't think everyone's innocent. Everyone's a master here. They know what they're doing. And they know when they're doing it. So when I keep that as a respect for you and for me, then when the energy comes, that person, I ask those persons questions, or energetically, for them to find those answers within themselves.
Correct.
And if they don't, then I'll give them a nudge, or I'll give them a little breadcrumb. But I love watching them go, oh, I need to do this for this, and yes, I need to do that for that, and okay, I get this and this. So keeping the work simple, and keeping it, as you said, as we said earlier, of just being that conduit, just being the mirror, and letting both divinities work through, and gridding, hey, like big time, opening the space with an intention, closing the space with the intention, making sure that the section is constantly stripped, like very, very, I call it a container or cocoon, must be very strong. And if that's not, then energy can kind of go all over the place, because we're not only just dealing with maybe a wound of a stumped toe, we are releasing people's unfinished karma, or unfinished, unresolved energies, which is like doing their homework for them.
Correct.
So we can't do their homework for them. Only they can do it for themselves. But we can guide them, mirror them, support them. But then we got to let them go and say, okay, cool. What do you see for yourself? And the person will have time to reflect and be that for you. Yeah, beautiful. We should do a trade. I'd love to do a trade with you. Yeah, I'd love to learn from you.
Okay, Sammy, what do you say if I come to Cape Town? Which is the first place I need to visit? Like really resonating with nature, and I should.
Are you a forest baby, or are you a ocean baby?
I am an ocean baby, 100%.
You're an ocean baby.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, luckily in the Western Cape, we have both. We have mountains, and we have ocean, and they're really close to each other. So you get to get the best of both worlds.
Okay.
Sure. Ocean. Do you want peace and quiet, or do you want like kind of buzzy meeting people?
No. Peace and quiet,
peace
of course.
And quiet.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So wow, Cape Townians are gonna like bark at me if I don't get this right.
Okay.
My favorite
Okay.
place
Uh-huh.
is called Pringle Bay. Pringle Bay is about an hour and a half just outside of Cape Town.
Okay.
And it is just such a beautiful
Wow.
little town, beautiful beach, beautiful crystal blue oceans, crystal white sands, and a beautiful little small community, and great walks up the mountain, and also great beach experience and great swimming experience. But if you're in Cape Town, is to get on a train. I would take you onto a train with me, which is only 11 Rand, which is like half a cent. It's really cheap.
Okay.
And then I would take you from town all the way to what they call Simonsburg.
Oh, wow.
And Simonstown. And there are the penguins. We have the jackass penguins that live there.
Oh,
So
I
you can come and
can't
look
wait
at the
to come to Cape
penguins.
Town now and meet you. Yeah.
Yes,
Of
girl,
course.
can't wait to have
Yeah.
you. We'll get you on
Can't
the Kindred
wait.
Hearts team. We'll start
Wow.
dreaming and manifesting. And
Oh,
we'll definitely
yes.
make sure that this is possible to get the funds there so that you can come.
Awesome. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you
We'll
so
do
much,
retreats
Shannon.
together
Yeah,
and so much goodness.
Of course.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. A virtual hug from me to my sister in Cape Town. Yeah. I'm so happy that I met you today online. See, I'm feeling so positive and energetic. I mean, it's so automatic with you. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for the authenticity, sister. I think
Thank you so much.
It's really
We'll
is
connect
infectious.
soon. Yeah. Yeah. You take care.
Sending you so much love. Thank you for this time and what you're doing. I love your platform, and I will send many to it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Angel. Chat soon.
Bye-bye.
Namaste. Bye.
Namaste. Bye.